led by poor people. That's a big lesson I learned. Seeing these women that I work with, they're as good human beings as anybody else. But they're extremely poor. Why does it happen? So my conclusion was, it's not her fault that she's poor. It's a fault of the system that we built. When I say that, it's a system is responsible for creating this, automatically I blame myself. Because I'm a teacher. I teach in the university. I teach economics. I'm one of those people who are behind the system, who build the system, promote the system, pass on the system to next generation. And that system is responsible for this. Each individual has the capacity not only to take care of himself or herself, take care of the whole world. That's what the human being is all about. But because of the way we taught ourselves, we look at them differently. And as a result, this is what happens. So I wanted to find out where we did the wrong things for which they have to suffer. We are the guilty people. So we want to correct the system, correct the situation. We have to correct the system. So it's not something that you do with the person, you do with the people who are building the system. Because that's what they went wrong. Created the wrong world. Ever since, I was questioning the system so that I can make it straight, which worked for them. So that's the story that my life, chapter after chapter, is built. And I was trying to communicate with people that, look, this is the right one. Or one of the right ones. You may have 101 of them yourself. But definitely not the one that we promote to our conventional learning process. So that's the story. I'll stop here and then wait for your question. Thank you.
Beginning, as you say, and it is for me a great privilege to have you in conversation here at Asia Society. And all the more the reason because this is my final public act as Asia Society's president, and to be able to do it with you, Dr. Yunus, is all the more an honor. You are such a well-known figure, a widely admired figure on the development side of the global agenda. And you know, this week is the UN week here in New York, and you've been a steady, most noticed, most greatly in demand leader of all the leaders that gather here for this week. And as UN celebrates its 80th. I don't know how many times have you been here to celebrate and take part in the UNGA High Level Week, but coming back this year as Chief Advisor of Bangladesh, of the interim government, with all the experience that you have in the current role, as well as your previous many different roles, what is your general impression of where the UN is? What are the expectations? What are the challenges?
First of all, it's not just the UN. I think the world as a whole is in a big crisis. And UN has demonstrated in its 80th year that it's incapable of handling that. So that's the crisis. We have no institution who can handle the crisis that we have created ourselves. We have to reinvent institutions and we look at things so that we come to the right way of pursuing our life and how we design our society and the world itself. So I would say that this 80th birthday of a great institution, United Nations, is a time for big waking up call for all of us.
Doctor, and I think a key part of that effort has to really look at the young generation. And I think this is particularly relevant looking at Bangladesh because it was that youthful drive, that unfulfilled expectation and aspiration of the youthful generation that led to the fall of the establishment political leadership in your country, that led to this interim period, and the expectation placed on you to meet the aspirations of the young generation. I think, and that is the same here at the global UN level, but also at national levels. And we see this, breaking out in many different countries in the region, and Bangladesh sort of started the trend. How do you respond to that frustration and unfulfilled expectations of the youth?
Yeah, you bring me to another subject completely, which is again my favorite subject. And I keep talking without any proof or anything. I keep saying that. That's what I do. I don't wait for proof.
It's wisdom when you say it.
I don't know what it is. I particularly tell the young people, look, you are the young people, young generation, it's a new generation. But you are not the same young generation of previous generations. You are completely different. We call you young people, but actually you are not quite human being. You are superhuman being. You don't realize it, but that's where you are. No other generation in human history, young generation was as powerful as you are. And I repeat that 1,000 times. I believe in it. So you look like human being, but you are way different than human being that we used to know about. Not because you are smarter than other generations of young people. One particular thing makes you super powerful. Technology. You are not the same young people ever born in this planet. So by looking at each other and reading stuff written before, you start thinking that you're same old young people. You are not. First realize that you're not, because by conversations with your parents, with your sisters, brothers, or your siblings, you still behave like previous generations of young people. And you forget that you are different. You never probably realize that you are different. I think you're really genie, but look like human being. You have the power. And if you feel that you're a genie, suddenly you realize that you can do anything you want. You have that power. No other generation had that power. because we treat them just like another generation. Same school, same agenda, same teaching materials, but they are different. So this is what the global thing is all about. Mismatch. The young generation is so different. We are treating them just like other generation. So we are having genie in our hand, but treating them as human babies, human young people. So the sooner we realize and they start realizing, the moment they start realizing, disturbances happen.
So should we, older generation, just get out of the way and let them do their...
Maybe, because older generation didn't do a good job.
Yes.
It's better to leave it to them, because they are capable. Once they realize that, yes, we pay attention to it, we'll make it happen. They can make it happen. That's the faith I have. So the earlier that we can open door for them, please do. Take over is better. We have created something which doesn't work. We have to create a new framework completely. So we have to start from the scratch. We have to literally create a new civilization. The civilization that we have created now is a self-destructive civilization. We build everything to destroy ourselves. The sooner we can create a different civilization, the better for us, for survival. Otherwise, we will not survive. I think the young generation create the new civilization. In the new look, what this civilization, what human beings are all about. Make that happen. It's a self-destructive because everything we do lead us to dead end. End of this story. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a glorious story. That's what human beings are made for. To build a beautiful civilization. And instead, we have created civilization, but through any path you go in this civilization, it's a dead end. Whether you go through the environment path, you're dead end. If you go to the waste pattern, you're dead end. Finish. You will be buried under the waste. That's the civilization we have created. We say we don't create waste, but everything we do is to create waste. Throwing away is our economy. We keep on saying buy, 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 buy. Bargain, 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 discount, discount, discount. Encouraging you to create waste. You don't need it, but we make you feel you need it. We don't say, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Because we build an economy who thrives in selling things to you. As a result, we create the world that we have. This is just one example. You go any door, any direction, this is what happens. So we have to build a civilization which is not a waste-creating civilization. It's not something destroying the environment situation. That's the kind of thing, a new civilization. And I have been trying to, people say, what kind of civilization would that be? I try to put a kind of package, so this would be a civilization of 3 zeros. It would be 3-0 civilization. It's a kind of a shortcut to description of the new civilization. 0 carbon emission, 0 wealth concentration. If nothing else is killing us, wealth concentration will kill everything. The way all the wealth goes to the top and in the hands of few people, leaving the bottom empty. have no path. This is for survival. Every year is getting more to the top than to the bottom. We have created an economic system which accumulation to the top is the rule. Whether it was supposed to be the other way. We create wealth, but we create wealth which goes to the right places where people have less wealth. We'll say economics doesn't say that way. I said economics is designed the wrong way. That's why in the beginning I said poverty is not created by the poor people. Poverty is created by the system. So until we create that, change that system, poverty will remain no matter what you do. And one of the features is this wealth concentration. You create wealth, you sweat for it, but the wealth goes to somebody else. So we have to redesign that system. Wealth remains where it is created. Wealth remains in the hands of the people who create that wealth. Not set by some mechanism that you artificially created, it gets shifted to somebody else. So that's the kind of thing. So we zero net carbon emission, zero wealth concentration, zero unemployment. These are the three kind of a description of a future civilization that we can build. And people say, how do you do that? I say, it doesn't mesh anything. I said, I know that. So what do? I go back to the young people because they are the ones who will save this planet, because they are not contaminated by all the bad things already happening around them. I asked them to create 30 clubs. At the beginning I said, young people will not pay any attention to this. They have more fascinating thing to do for their life. I was surprised. Young people started responding. Simple idea. So you take 5 young people together, your friends, 4 other friends for yourself. By young, I describe them by saying it should be between 12-year-old to 35-year-old. That's what the youth is all about. So this is just artificially cutting, kind of draw the line. If you're 36, somebody says, I'm 36, what do I do? I said, you become supporter of a 30 club. You cannot be a member of the 30 club, but you can support one, help them so that they're successful. And the responsibility of the members of the 30 club is my own design. It's not something you can go dig up somewhere. I said, if you declare yourself that if I'm using something which creates emissions, and I'm using it 7 days a week, first attempt for me as a 30 club member, I'll make sure one day in a week I will be carbon free. I will not contribute to emissions. Find out how you create those emissions. Because all these problems are created not for some creator somewhere. We create these problems ourselves. So it's not by some degree that it disappear, okay? It doesn't disappear like that. I have to make it disappear because I create that. I have to take the responsibility. So if you do it 7 days a week, promise yourself you'll do it 6 days a week. One day you will not create that. And then you'll make it 6 days a week, 5 days a week, and finally 0 days a week. You will not contribute to carbon emissions. So you become a carbon-free person. And if you are contributing to the wealth concentration by the work we do, you follow the same rule. Gradually, you become a 30 person. You cannot create a 30 world without you being the 30 person. So make a beginning for yourself. So I try to explain to young people They respond. They said, we created 5 3-0 clubs in our school. We have created 3-0 clubs here in this city. So I said, why don't you get interconnected? So you use technology so that they can collect each other. Now, many countries, 3-0 clubs coming. I find some hope that, yes, they're paying attention to it. I said, what are you doing actually? You should have to share. That technology comes in. Technology makes things easy for each other. So they have their website, they have their apps, they have everything. So to see that this is what I'm doing. I said, we have to change ourselves before we change the world outside. This is the beginning for us. So this is one way. I'm not saying this is the only solution. I said, this is a solution in desperation. I have no other idea. Okay, this is another one idea you can try. But you can come out with a smarter idea than this. They will, sooner or later, because if you go on practicing that, this is what direction you will go.
Well, Professor Yunus, that's a very powerful way. Inequality, overconsumption, and I completely am with you on how we really need to stop.
But you cannot start a 3-0 club.
I'll be a big supporter.
You'll be a supporter, yes.
But this has to become a critical mass,
absolutely,
right, to be able to influence policy decision making.
That's the campaign.
That's the campaign. Where are we now?
We're doing pretty good. There are about 17 countries, thousands of 3-0 clubs in each one. They're competing with each other. How many 3-0 clubs? You can go to the website. You can find out. So those kind of things. We get inspired seeing these interactions among them.
Yes.
We are not pouring in money. There's no money in it. So this is just a self-promoted things. The fact that I'm saying that I'm a 3-0 club, I didn't do anything, but I want to be a 3-0 club, is a big important decision.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what this is. And then it explains you can take steps. If you have taken one step there, your friend in the club says, okay, I can do better than you. Then if my club has become a 3-0 club finally, because all 5 of us now 3-0 persons. So we say, can we compete with the club which is still in a 4-person, 3-person, and see how quickly you can do that. And you do the 3-0 club, becoming a completed 3-0 club, and then you say, can we have a 3-0 village? Can we have a 3-0 street? Can you have a 3-0 district? Whatever. So this is how it happens. It becomes part of you, part of your life, because you believe in something, and you know that this has to be done. You are convinced about that. So this gradually becomes a habit. In the new families, they don't have to explain you have to 3-0 club. They're part of that. This is their life. This is the way they do that. Otherwise, we go on, buy as much Christmas presents as you want, some Mother's Day, Father's Day, somebody else's day, buy things. This is not going to save us. But we know that. But still we do that completely without ever paying any attention to it.
But I think it's also important to realize the establishment that we are up against. I mean, there's these, for example, there's an effort to write a treaty that limits plastic waste. And just shocking to see the resistance to that. 2 rounds of discussions have gone nowhere. But
we should listen to the speech given by Trump yesterday. That will solve all the problem for you.
But I think your leadership, your advocacy, and your humility in approaching this is critical to keeping this movement going in many countries around the world. So we will continue to count on your advocacy and leadership. But more immediately to home in Bangladesh, you are at the leader of a political process as well, at a very real level. And you are headed toward an election that will clearly spell out the future governance of the country. At a realistic level, what do you expect to take place during the elections and post-elections?
first of all, it's not what I expect, what these young people expected. Because they are the root of all this happening in Bangladesh. Again, the young generation, very fascinating. Suddenly, they rebelled. Suddenly. There was no organization, there's no campaign, there's no newspaper, there's no television show, organization, nothing happened. One day they say, enough is enough. Everybody joined. Who had the pipe of this big piper to playing music and everybody's coming? Piper of Hamilton. Yes. Yeah. Nobody knew. But they are all on the street. Their voice is, enough is enough. And they declared, this is the last day for you. Everybody's in the street. You should see these videos. Everybody has video, the cameras. Everybody's taking pictures. Have you ever thought a revolution being fought with the handset? Everybody's looking at each other, taking pictures. And so you have well-documented revolution taking place right in front of your eyes. And they get shot. They get killed. Your friend just got killed. You started together. He's there. You're carrying his dead body still in the street. One 12-year-old young guy wrote a beautiful letter to the mother. Mother, I'm going. You'll be very unhappy because you wanted to stop me going to these processions in the street, demonstration in the street, but I can't sit home. My friends are fighting for the country. I don't want to be somebody who has not participated in it. So I apologize to you. I may not come back. Forgive me. Young guy writing such a touching letter to the mother and left it on the table. He never came back. So those kind of stories after stories, hundreds and thousands of stories like that, suddenly happen. All happened between July and 5th of August. That's it. So this is the way they respond. They suddenly wake up. It happened. And I was invited. I was not even in the country. Out of nowhere, they said, you have to come. We have to form a government. So that's how I got into it. I'm not the person that's involved in mobilizing anything. So what I'm trying to do, and all my colleagues are trying to do, see the vision, the dream they had while they're giving their lives. We can at least create a little environment for this to achieve, so that they are the people who gave us the instructions what kind of world they want, and we are trying to see if we can fit into it. It's a tough job, it's not an easy job, but it's the dream of the people, young people, to carry out, building up a world for them, and they call it New Bangladesh. We have to create a new Bangladesh for them. And in the beginning, while we were forming the cabinet, we took them into the cabinet, 3 of them into the cabinet, and people were surprised by these young people. So they freed the country, they liberated the country. So they're good enough for doing that, they're good enough to run the country. So this is how, we are here in, right now in the UN General Assembly. 2 of them came. I don't know if anyone here today. No. Yeah, okay, right here. Both of them right here. Come on. Come on the stage. Come on. My God. So they are the persons. Come on. Okay, fantastic. Wow. So these are the guys fighting on the street. Look at that. Thank you. Okay. So let's give a big applause for them. When it's all over, you can come and talk to them, see why they did it, what's their dream, how to make it happen. Please go ahead. Thank you. So that's our job, to see that this is something Whether they'll succeed, whether they'll fail, we don't know. Whether it will happen, can the new Bangladesh will be a reality. As long as these young people will be there, they'll come back to it. You can't get rid of them. So it's their dream. It may fail in the first chance, it may fail in the second chance. That way they will make it happen. Because it came from them, out of them. It's not somebody, some teacher said or some book says, nothing. They felt it, they don't want this the way it is happening. They want a new Bangladesh. So this is the direction. So we are given the task of the reform agenda, reform the system, reform the rules, the laws, institutions, and so on. So this is one of the agenda item. Second agenda is a trial of those people who ordered killings and stealing money from the country. Literally, they just took all the assets of the country, shifted away from other countries and so on. So catch them, punish them, it's a legal procedure. And the third one is election. So now we are coming closer to the election, and we have announced the date for the election. It's February, first half of February next year. So we'll have the election, so we'll have an elected government. Students who are fighting on the street, they also formed a political party. Both of them belong to the political party. They are the leaders of the political party. Actually, they created the party. So let's hope for the best. See, we wish them well. See how it goes.
Well, we certainly wish you, sir, and the youthful generation of Bangladesh the very best in these key political moments coming forward, especially the election. And we very much hope that it will be an opportunity for that dream to go forward and certainly not backwards. So we wish you all the best for that to take place. But I have a few pre-registered questions to address to you, and I think one of them ties nicely with one question that I had prepared for myself. You know, I think that political change in Bangladesh has also meant changes in the regional dynamics in South Asia. How are you navigating, how do you wish to navigate, how does the youthful generation wish to navigate Bangladesh's places with its neighbors in South Asia? I think recently you went to a conference in Tokyo and expressed the wish for Bangladesh to join the ASEAN, for example. So clearly you're thinking about it. And there's a question that ties into this from our audience. What can be done to promote deeper people-to-people engagement in the South Asia region? How can Bangladesh help better tell South Asia's story to the world? Just altogether, your thoughts about Bangladesh's place in the South Asia scheme of things.
Well, government can do only small things that happens in front of them. There's a bigger picture in the minds of the people. This is what we have to go. But the government cannot just jump to make it happen. So we as a government try to see immediately what we can do in the direction that students or young people are dreaming about. We wanted to neighbors bring together some dreams. One of the first thing said that let's revive SAARC. Many of you are familiar with SAARC, is the association of the South Asian countries like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and all, Maldives. They had a association of countries. It's a wonderful idea. It's like a European Union. That was a kind of image in which the SAARC was built. But somehow, one of our neighbors didn't like that framework. So it became almost a dead organization. The first thing we said, why is it a dead organization? We want to collaborate, we want to help each other, we want to be associated with each other. We said, imagine we're having a European Union type. We can visit each other. That's the dream behind SAARC. We don't need a passport. We don't need a visa to go. We need a passport, but we don't need a visa to cross each other. We can do business. We can settle down in any country in the South Asia. This is a wonderful idea. The young people will be going into any direction they want to meet each other. Now we talk about religion and so on. The more movements happen, friendship happens, all this become small things in their life. Literally it's dead. It doesn't happen. So we try to encourage the countries, let's go back to do that. While we cannot do that, ASEAN is functioning. I said, why don't we become members of ASEAN? This would be good connection, even if when the SAARC is revived, Bangladesh becomes a kind of a connecting point between ASEAN and SAARC. So I'm emphasizing on that. And ASEAN chair right now is Malaysia. Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister, he got very excited. He's a good friend. He got very excited. He said, yes, of course, we'll welcome you into ASEAN. But he may have a very warm feeling for us, but we need a procedure where all the ASEAN countries have to say yes. It's not easy to get everybody's yes right away, particularly Myanmar, which have problem with the Rohingyas. So they may not come forward. But we'll work on it. We don't see this would be again permanent trouble between Myanmar and Bangladesh. We don't have to have that. So we have to resolve all these issues. Rohingyas can go back to Myanmar, to their home, to their businesses, to their professions, and we'll have good relationship with Myanmar. Having this kind of conflict with each other doesn't help anybody. So we have to resolve that. So hopefully, if it's resolved, then we become ASEAN member. But in the meantime, we can have informal membership in ASEAN. That's one way we can do that. And this is what we have been applying, that we can become an informal member. There's a provision there that we can do that. So ASEAN would be a good place to go. So we want to build that up, regional harmony and regional interconnectivity, etc., etc. We bring it down to Bangladesh also in a different way. I said, look, Bangladesh economy is defined by the boundaries of Bangladesh, but why we remain ourselves within the boundaries of Bangladesh? This is a very narrow way of looking at yourself. I said, why don't you look at the neighbors, like Nepal, Bhutan, and also the 7 states of India, which is on the eastern part of Bangladesh. There are 7 states who don't have any access to the ocean. So these are landlocked countries and landlocked region. So we don't have to. The Bay of Bengal is right there. We all share Bay of Bengal, so that you can access the rest of the world, and we mutually benefit. Because you have to go through Bangladesh, you can invest in Bangladesh, Bangladeshis can invest in your territory, and anybody. That's what the whole idea of the SAARC. So if we can't do the whole SAARC, then we can have a mini SAARC of our own in a business deal, not political or any formal treaty or something. You need it. Nepal has to access ocean because all these goods and services coming back and forth need the access to the ocean. And in the process, all of us benefit from that. So I said, we think about the regional economy. So this is what we should be doing. We have problems with India right now because they didn't like what the students have done. They're hosting Hasina, who's the former prime minister, who created all this problem and killed the young people. And that creates a lot of tension between India and Bangladesh. Also, there's fake news coming from the other side, making all kinds of propaganda that this is a very bad thing. This is an Islamist movement, and these are the Talibans who took over Bangladesh and so on. They have been trained in. They even say, I'm a Taliban too. So I'm a Taliban. I don't have the beard, I just left it home. But they go and make this propaganda all the time. So I have to show my face. Look, this is the guy, the chief Taliban here. So this is how it works. So anyway, this is a real thing. And we said, look, we don't have to do it. We SAARC is a family of very close family members. So we don't have to. the whole idea of SAARC was born in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the one who promoted this idea, capital by capital, in all the South Asian countries. So now you're telling that we are enemy of those each other. We wanted to bring this together so that young people can get in touch with each other. All regions, not just one country or second, all the countries that in the SAARC countries, they can visit each other, make friends with each other, study in the universities, colleges, wherever they are. They go do business in each other's countries. That was the whole idea. Our history gives us opportunity to make that happen. But somehow it didn't fit into the politics of one country, so we have to stop that. So we feel very sorry for that. We want to make sure that we open it up, bring people together. That is the only way to solve our problems.
Thank you, Professor. We have 4 minutes, but I want to get talking about economic exchanges. How are you dealing with the tariffs?
Did you have a discussion with President Trump already?
No, this is a challenge for every country.
I know. We are very lucky in that sense. We got a good deal. So that was, so we're very happy about it. But there's a lot of tension in the country. What happens if we don't have the right kind of tariff result coming out? But what we got is something very good for us. We can even improve on it. We have a scope for that. So we are still struggling to, working to make it still easier. But what it is today, but the thing is so narrowed down to the tariff for the whole world. Yeah. It's diverted the attention from many other issues that economically we should be doing each other's businesses and so on. So this is the kind of thing that we have to redesign, rethink, how to build the economy for sharing rather than accumulating from you, give me the best and so on. That's not the way the direction would be. I was mentioning zero wealth concentration. And zero wealth concentration means that you share the wealth so that it's not about accumulation to go everywhere. If you look at the global economy, each country was saying wealth concentration, like United States wealth concentration, Bangladesh wealth concentration, any country, the same thing. One is goes close to absurdity of wealth concentration, almost a group of people holding all the wealth of the same country. Little bit for the rest of the country. It's turning into that kind of path, moving into that path. And that's a disaster. You cannot have any country which concentration is in a form that all the wealth goes to a few people. Because what is wrong with wealth concentration? Why are you so much against it? If you have wealth in your hand, not only you control the wealth, you control everything else. You control politics, you control media, you control education, you control everything you have because you have the money. So you destroy the whole system, whole structure of the system. You say good things about democracy and everything, elections, everything now manipulated because I have the money, I control everything. I decide who gets elected because I pour money into that candidate and make sure he gets elected or she gets elected. My choice is the final choice, not your choice. That's not the society that we are looking for, not at this age, at this time. That's why I was saying 80th year of the United Nations is a very critical year. We have to decide which way we go. This is a time, unless we do that, we are finished. So there is a self-destructive civilization. We make it come true. We destroy ourselves. We are not very far from that. So we have to create a new civilization. These are the elements of the new civilization we are talking about. And it can be self-made. That's what young people can do because they are not sold to the old ideas. They are not talking about all the isms. You remember those ism days? Whether you are this ism or that ism and so on. They don't talk about it. They don't have any ism. They simply say want to live together. That's it. And they will figure it out how this making happen. Because their imagination is much more powerful than the previous generations. Because they got up. You go to any remote village in Bangladesh, go to any young person, he or she is already attached to the social media. Or the right thing or wrong thing, he or she is fed with all kinds of things. He's not an isolated person. He may be in a remote area, but he or she is a very connected person. So that is a fantastic power. I'm surprised when you go to village, you find young person, between 20, 25, 30, or something like that, doing all the work for international companies, sitting right at his home or her home in the village. When you can do that, you have cracked the whole thing. The connectivity really means something. I am got connected wherever I want. Your passport cannot stop me, visa cannot stop me, plane fare cannot stop me. I can be with this. Connectivity gives me access to the world that I want to be associated with. So that is the power that we already have. So 10 years later, 20 years later, what kind of world it would be? We cannot even imagine what kind of world. In 20 years' time, it will be so different. All these things that I'm talking about become obsolete. This is not it. This is it. They will figure that out of their necessity, not because they are some kind of genius or something. No. Out of necessity, they will do it because they have the capacity to do it. They will discover that I have the capacity to do it. Let's do it and make it happen. They will not wait for old people to advise them, say that, no, submit your report and I'll approve it, then you'll do that. Nothing like that. They are not waiting for anybody. That's for sure. That's my conviction. I feel very strongly about. Thank you.